you guys have been paying attention to social media and if you've been reading the news, then you've noticed that there have been a lot of stories about sexual harassment and sexual assault in the last couple of weeks. Now, a large part of this is because of the whole Harvey Weinstein scandal, which is just crazy. I mean, when you think about the sheer number of victims, the severity of these allegations, but I think the most troubling aspect of it to me is the fact that so many people knew about it and nobody said anything. Everyone chose to simply look the other way. Everyone chose to simply mind their own business. And this is not just a reflection of Harvey Weinstein. This is a reflection of our broader culture. The fact that we don't like to talk about these things. No one likes to bring accountability and call things out until it ends up being 30 people. Why couldn't we call it out when it was one person or two people? We have to wait until it's a stack of people before we even have the conversation. The reason I say it's a reflection of our broader culture is because we live in a sexist society. So if we're not actively working to challenge sexism, then we're passively reinforcing it. Now, I know there are people watching this video right now that think this whole conversation about sexual assault and harassment are media hype, that the numbers are inflated, that there aren't that many people out there that have been victimized. But I think what those people forget is that most victims suffer in silence. Most people are afraid to share their story because they don't think anyone's gonna believe them. They see all the victim blaming that goes on in the media and they think, why even share my story? Most people don't think they're part of the problem. They're like, listen, I'm not harassing anybody, I'm not assaulting anyone, I can't be part of the problem. But when you see sexual harassment, when you see people making unwanted sexual advances, when they're making comments or remarks about someone's body that makes that person feel uncomfortable or unwanted touching, all these are elements of sexual harassment. And when you don't say anything about this behavior, you're participating in it. We have to start calling these things out. So I want to share with you guys 3 ideas that I think can help us challenge everyday sexism. Number 1, when you see sexist behavior, call it out. It doesn't always have to be a showdown or a confrontation. Sometimes people aren't even aware of what they're saying. You can simply bring it to their attention. There are other times where people are simply being rude and you got to call them out. It might have to be tense or awkward for a minute, but they've made everyone else feel awkward. So now they need to feel the same way. We need to call it out. It's also about being open to people calling you out. And it's also about calling yourself out. There have been 2 times in the last year that I had to apologize to women because I feel like I behaved inappropriately. One situation was because I crossed a boundary. The other situation was because someone else crossed a boundary and made a woman feel uncomfortable. And when I stepped into the situation, I just changed the topic. Instead of calling this person out for their behavior, I changed the topic. But I should have called that person out because their behavior was inappropriate. When you see that someone has a history of being sexist and abusive, it's not good enough just to simply pull away from that person. Sometimes you need to completely cut that person off because you realize that they think their behavior is okay. And when people see that you're still connected to them, it looks like you're giving them your stamp of approval. It looks like a cosign. It looks like you're okay with their behavior. And lastly, we have to have more conversations like the one we're having right now. This is kind of more of a monologue, but I want to see it turn into a dialogue. So please leave your comments down below in the thread and let's share this video so that we can spark even more conversation. Thank you guys for watching another episode. I'm Elliott Ashby and I'm always keeping it classy. Peace.